The book, The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle, is a clear invitation to realize that real life happens now, in the present moment. The book addresses how our minds are often occupied with the past or future, leaving the present moment lost in a whirlwind of thoughts and anxiety. Tolle invites the reader to free themselves from overthinking and to live fully conscious of the present moment, as this is the key to living a life filled with peace and true happiness. Awareness of the present begins with understanding how the human mind works. The mind tends to call up memories of the past or predict the future, creating a constant sense of anxiety or regret. For example, a person who regrets a wrong decision made in the past might feel stuck in a loop of guilt. Or perhaps they feel tense about an upcoming work meeting, making the present moment seem less important. Eckhart Tolle points out that this mental clutter distracts us from enjoying the real life that is happening right now. In this context, the book offers a simple exercise. Try to focus on your breath for a few moments and allow your mind to calm down. Notice how breathing always happens in the present, not in the past or future. This exercise illustrates that the present is the only place where we can truly experience life, and we can find peace by focusing on it. Moreover, the book delves into the concept of the ego or false self. According to Tolle, the ego is the entity constructed by the mind based on thoughts, memories, and fears. The ego convinces us that we need more possessions or social recognition to feel happiness. But in reality, this pursuit never ends and leaves us in a constant state of dissatisfaction. For example, a person might strive for professional success, thinking that once they achieve it, they will feel happy. But as soon as they reach their goal, a new desire arises, bringing the cycle back to the beginning. Here, Tolle clarifies that the solution is to be aware that true happiness comes from accepting the present moment as it is, without conditions. Regarding relationships, the book offers deep insights into how present moment awareness can improve our communication with others. When we are fully present during a conversation, we give the other person the attention they deserve, strengthening emotional bonds and reducing misunderstandings. Imagine a friend telling you an important story, but your mind is distracted by your phone or a to-do list. By focusing on the present, you can give that friend the genuine experience of feeling truly supported. These ideas are not only philosophical, but can also be extremely practical. When we begin living in the present, we notice that stress decreases, and we can handle challenges more effectively. For example, if you're facing a significant challenge at work, instead of dwelling on the possible negative outcomes, you can focus on the next step you need to take right now. This approach reduces anxiety and makes solutions appear clearer. When we embrace the idea of fully being present in the moment, we begin to notice many things we previously overlooked. Eckhart Tolle points out that the present moment is not just a period of time, it is a gateway to inner peace. Everything happens now, and even challenges or pain can be dealt with more consciously when we are in the present. Imagine someone feeling frustrated due to the accumulation of work. Their mind often stays tense from thinking about the amount of work that hasn't been completed yet. But if they focus only on the next step they can take, they will find that the task becomes less threatening and easier to handle. One of the deep aspects Tolle discusses is the idea of awareness and surrender. Surrender here doesn't mean giving up in a negative sense, but rather accepting what happens without internal resistance. For example, if you're stuck in traffic and feel angry because you're going to be late, acceptance doesn't mean you're happy with the situation, but rather you acknowledge that there's no use in worrying about what you cannot change. This acceptance reduces stress and allows you the opportunity to focus on solutions instead of the problem. Additionally, the book addresses the important aspect of emotional pain and how to deal with it. Tolle explains that pain is nothing more than the accumulation of our resistance to what is happening now. When we hold on to the past or fear the future, we create emotional pain. For example, if someone loses a job, they may become consumed by thinking about the mistakes that led to this loss or worrying about the future. But by stopping resistance to what has happened and focusing on the next steps, the feeling of suffering can be minimized. In our daily lives, we find many examples that reflect the impact of present moment awareness. When we enjoy a meal and focus on its taste, or when we spend time with loved ones without thinking about our phones or unfinished tasks, we experience true happiness. These simple moments are sometimes the greatest sources of joy. Yet, we find that the mind always tends to distract us by focusing on the past or future. Therefore, full presence requires regular practice. Tola offers practical exercises such as meditation and mindful breathing to enhance this awareness. Mindful breathing, for example, can be an effective tool for calming down. When you're faced with a difficult situation, take a few moments to breathe slowly and focus your attention on the movement of your breath. This simple act can help detach you from troubling thoughts and refocus on the present. Furthermore, the book discusses how awareness can help us overcome negative habits. When we realize that our actions are often a result of automatic thinking patterns, we can begin to change those patterns. For instance, if someone struggles with procrastination, they can notice how their mind becomes preoccupied with the potential negative outcomes instead of focusing on the simple step they can take right now. This awareness gives them the ability to break this habit. In relationships, Tolle points out that present moment awareness opens the door to authentic communication. When we interact with others consciously, free from judgments or automatic reactions, we enhance relationships and reduce conflicts. For example, if you're in a discussion with someone else and feel angry, full presence can help you calm down and focus on understanding the other person's point of view rather than reacting angrily. Tolle deepens our understanding of the ego, which he describes as the primary source of suffering. The ego is that inner voice that judges everything, compares, fears, and clings to the past and future. In reality, the ego prevents us from living freely by constantly making us think about ourselves and what we should be or do. For example, if you feel insulted by a comment someone made to you, it's often because the ego interprets the situation as an attack on your identity. But when you realize that the ego is not you, and you can choose not to respond to those thoughts, you free yourself from its influence. One of the beautiful aspects of the book is its highlighting of the difference between the mind and consciousness. The mind is the tool we use to think, while consciousness is a deeper awareness that transcends thinking. The problem is that we have become slaves to our minds, allowing them to control our lives instead of using them as a tool. For instance, in moments of anxiety, the mind keeps creating negative scenarios, but consciousness can intervene to remind you that these are just thoughts, not facts. Eckhart Tolle provides tangible examples of how to integrate these concepts into our lives. When you wash the dishes, instead of thinking about the next task, focus on the feel of the water, the soap, and the sound of the plates. This simplicity brings peace. Similarly, if you're walking in nature, instead of talking about problems with yourself, try noticing everything around you. The sound of the wind, the color of the sky, the smell of the earth. Being present doesn't mean abandoning planning for the future or learning from the past, but it means stopping them from becoming sources of stress. If you're planning a big project, awareness can help you make better decisions because you're not acting out of fear or greed, but from a place of calm and balance. This type of thinking can change the way we handle work and life in general. On a spiritual level, full presence connects us more deeply with ourselves and the existence around us. Tolle describes this feeling as peace beyond understanding. It's the sense that we are part of something greater, and that our lives are not just a series of random events, but have meaning beyond what we can see. The conclusion emphasizes that this type of awareness is not a journey with an end, but a continuous practice. We may find ourselves losing this awareness at times, but returning to it is always possible. The key is to keep trying, to recognize the moment we are living in now, and to enjoy its beauty. This journey is worth the effort because it gives us freedom from the constraints we impose on ourselves.